Hello and good evening and welcome to the news today, Wednesday, the 11th of August 2021. To present, my name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Top stories in the news tonight: Zambia decides 12th August amid its economic recovery promises. Top 2 contenders in Thursday's election optimistic of carrying the day. NGOCC disappointed by the police conduct in this election period. And in international news, Sudan to hand former leader OMAR AL-BASHIR and other officials to the ICC. And in sports news, CHAMBESHI confident of squad formed for the World Cup qualifiers.
Are you a small to medium enterprise looking to advertise your products and services within your community and across Zambia? In these economic times, we are here to help you grow your business. Advertise with us on Camnet Market. Camnet Market is offering lower rates for prime time advertising between 06 to 18 hours every day to give your business an edge under the new normal and beyond. For more details, contact us on the following numbers: 097 975 3010 or 096 296 5883, as well as 096 244 726. You can also reach us via email on info@camnettvafrica.com. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Hello once again, another news in detail. The non-governmental organization, Gender Organization Coordinating Council, NGOCC, has charged that the Zambia police has failed the Zambian people due to their inability to maintain law and order in a fair and equitable manner. NGOCC chairperson Mary Mulenga says the failure by the Zambia police to effectively police the pre-election campaign period only worked to heighten political tensions and to a large extent exacerbated the violence that the country has witnessed. Mrs. Mulenga has since called on women, who are the majority voters, to turn up in numbers on the 12th of August 2021 and support the few women contesting in this year's general elections. We have details in the following report.
Zambians will yet again be making an important decision to elect leaders that will manage the country at various levels for the next 5 years. The pre-election campaign period has witnessed high levels of political violence that has left many Zambian citizens injured, while others have ended up losing their lives. Voting now at the fingertips, the non-governmental Gender Organization Coordinating Council, NGOCC, says it is saddened at the failure by the Zambian police to maintain law and order in the country.
The Zambian police have failed the Zambian people thus far by their inability to maintain law and order in a fair and equitable manner. This failure by the Zambian police to effectively police the pre-election campaign period only worked to heighten political tensions to a large extent, exacerbated the violence that the country witnessed. Mrs.
Mulenga adds that it is regrettable that the electorates have not had the opportunity to adequately scrutinize and engage all the candidates in a more interactive manner.
We have also witnessed how it has been difficult for political parties to adequately articulate their manifestos for citizens to make informed decisions given the limited physical interface, especially that democracy thrives with regular dialogue between citizens and the rulers and among the people themselves. It is therefore regrettable that the electorates have not had the opportunity to adequately scrutinize and engage all the candidates in a more interactive manner.
She has since challenged ECZ to ensure that all their systems are watertight, efficient and effective enough to allow for the transmission of results in a smooth and transparent manner, devoid from any interference.
The electoral body has an obligation to deliver fair, free and credible elections that will uphold and embody the wishes and aspirations of the Zambian people. ECZ owes it to the electorate, present and indeed posterity, to ensure that all candidates are accorded their right to be chosen or not to be chosen through the ballot.
While women are the majority registered voter at 53%, NGOCC has since called on women in the country to turn up in numbers and support fellow women contesting at various levels. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Foundation for Democratic Process, FODEP, has urged Zambians to turn up in numbers and cast their vote for their preferred candidates. FODEB Executive Director George Chimembe says citizens must look beyond the gifts such as shirts and chitenge materials they have been given and vote for leaders who have demonstrated their ability to uplift their livelihood. Mr. Chimembe reminds citizens that a vote is secret and hence they should not be coerced into voting for a particular candidate. We have more in this report.
What was then referred to as next year to next month, then next week, it is now tomorrow, the day when Zambians cast their vote. The build-up to the polls has not been short of accusations and counter-accusations. Others have been bought for a vote, but due to lack of tolerance, others fought, and possible voters have been caught and are behind bars and may be counted among the prison vote. Electoral monitors and the media are ready. The men in uniform are geared. But all this depends on the people's ability to turn up and cast their vote. Polling stations across the country are expected to open at 06 hours. The Foundation for Democratic Process Executive Director George Chimembe urges people to turn up in numbers.
This time around, we have mature Zambians who know how to cast their vote in terms of the party ideas, the party manifestos. And I think people will not be swayed by songs that are being played. We think also that people will not look at that chitenge, this chitenge, to be, persuaded on how to vote. I think campaigns have been done. Part of the campaigns are just at household level, looking at how you've been, how life is. That's a very big portion of campaign.
And Mr. Chimembe reminds citizens to vote based on political party manifestos.
The economy, of course the infrastructure, development. And so on that day, when they go, they should just focus on what this person did or has done or will do, and looking at the prospects from this candidate. I think looking at the chitenge is not, those chitenges are not ideas, they may not bring vitality to a nation, songs are not ideas, they will never transform a country, What is important is to look at this person, what ideas do they have.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Lusaka residents have echoed the need for Zambians to exercise their right to vote and that there should be a free and fair election. Residents are optimistic that the environment will be peaceful so as to secure voters' freedom to freely vote. During an interview with Camnet TV, some residents voting for the first time have shared their opinions and expressed excitement as they prepare to cast their vote. Zambia gets to vote on Thursday, August 12, 2021, and voting starts at 06 hours in all parts of the country. More in this report.
A day that was highly anticipated by every Zambian citizen is just around the corner. 12th August 2021, with only a few hours to go when Zambia decides. I get to interact with some citizens and residents of Lusaka and find out their expectations, and this is what they had to say.
Suma sana. Maendeleo kuvuta leo ngavutira abantu tulefwaya abari woza fura vuta mutima gaiti. Chachini.
Okay. Fyonse na mpekanya?
Fyonse nifika pa table, fyonse fili intact. Mayo kuima no kuima mairo.
Voters card?
Fyonse reje voters card fyonse profit.
Okay.
Violence awe. Tentu isunga azivashukuru wesofu bari bakaunda tentu isunge tuiteke mchalo chesu cha Zambia. Fyonse fit.
Mvabino sana pantu nshavota. So ya face dawe na mvabino sana fi.
Nkabuka instance.
Kubuka face 02 mwe. Kali first time that wavota paso buka pama chapa kwa tuka imbutanta mavino.
So hapa ninji vimbamu. Na tindea vota inende buka 03. Ishinambo kuipika nyana afalika komwana 04 nshintinakula kutakamata.
Coming from the atmosphere that was filled with political violence, some residents are hoping that they have peaceful elections.
So sirifuna vomenyana menyana vote tikavote chemusha asiri
tulakwafe okuikala omutende tukavote omutende notifyongwawo.
A national registration card, a voter's card, and keeping up to the guidelines of COVID-19 is all that one needs. Tomorrow, 6 hours, the doors are open for Zambians to decide. It's Alex Shimba, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Leader of the opposition United Party for National Development UPND, Hakainde Hichilema, says he has not signed any deal with Vedanta over ownership of KCM as alleged by the Patriotic Front. He says he will seek to reinvest the mines to promote the effective participation of Zambians in the sector. Speaking during the end of the campaign period media campaign, the opposition leader Hakainde Hichilema regrets that the country remains poor despite being endowed with abundant natural resources. He has since implored the Electoral Commission of Zambia, law enforcement agencies and the defense to play their roles effectively to deliver a peaceful election. We have more in this report.
It's quite an inherent contradiction that a rich country, rich in resources, endowment, its people are poor, very poor. It's unacceptable. We're talking about high levels of corruption in our country. Even to support the sick in hospitals, corruption sets in, where we have expired medicines brought in and distributed to people seeking medical attention. Of course, they will not be healed. That's the situation in our country today.
The leader of the largest opposition political party in Zambia winded up the campaign with a media briefing in Lusaka Wednesday.
When you talked in the past a year ago, you were beaten by thugs. Political party thugs. You were killed. You were pandered. With the foreign press, with the militarized political party cadres moving with pangas and guns and maiming people who complain, taking away people's properties. That will come to an end on Monday. Law and order, normalcy will return. That's what we're offering the people, not forcefuls. I challenge my colleague, come to the table, let's have a chat. This is a time he and I should be talking to each other.
Mr. Hichilema told local and international media that it has been difficult to campaign amid restrictions. The opposition leader also responded to allegations surrounding the mining sector.
We have never promised anybody, we have never promised vendetta any return of a mine. We have not offered a mine, as my colleague talked about on the government, to anybody. I challenge him where he got that information. That's a falsehood. We don't do business like that. We understand business. We don't do it like that. So, we never promised vendetta a restoration of KCM. Never. Never ever before. What we want in the mines is recapitalization. What we want in the mines, which will bring, is a stable fiscal environment. Policies that are predictable. Mining is a long-term business.
He has called on law enforcement agencies to professionally do their work and extended the same message to the Electoral Commission of Zambia.
Expect the results management system throughout the processes to remain open and transparent. And we hear things that, like, phones will not be allowed in the polling station. Phones must be in the polling stations.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Republican President Edgar Lungu wrapped up his campaign with a final distribution of face masks in Zambia's capital city, Lusaka, in Matero, Chipata, Mandevu and Chilenje. President Edgar Lungu says he is a servant of the people. President Lungu will be seeking re-adoption for the third time, having won the election in 2015 and 2016 respectively.
Wednesday, 11th August 2021 marked the end of the campaign period that has not been short of drama and surprises as Zambia holds the general election in a unique environment owing to the COVID-19 pandemic. There are over 7 million Zambians expected to cast their votes in this year's poll. Republican President Edgar Lungu conducted the final distribution of face masks in Zambia's capital city Lusaka, starting with Matero, Chipata Compound, Mandevu and Chilenje Township. President Edgar Lungu says he is a servant of the people and expressed confidence of returning power. The head of state also spoke at a virtual rally, which was beamed live on various private and public media.
With HH on one side on the UPND ticket, and I beat him. Through the organization of Patriotic Front, which was very formidable and efficient, we won the elections. Despite the fact that their candidate was hardly 3 months old. I think I was a candidate 21 days or so. 3 months we were bickering in the party as to who will succeed Mr. Sata. But when I became president, I said, no nonsense, let's go ahead to the ballot. And we won. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is that peace is threatened in Zambia because of one character, one person. And we have to identify him, name and shame him, instead of pretending and beating about the bush. Because some people have come to me and said, President Lungu, are you willing to accept loss? I said, what has changed? In 2015, I beat HH with 28,000, 30,000 votes thereabout. I don't know the figure now, I've forgotten. 2016, I beat him with 100,000 plus. And in 2021, I believe I'll beat him with 500,000. And now they're talking to me. I begin questioning the motive of the people who are saying I should accept the loss. Right now I can tell you that the challenge we have is the economy. And we are doing our best to make sure that the challenge is met face on. I'm a light here to shupa. I'm a light now to be kapuna, yes, I'm a light. I'm a figures more, no kwishiwa. My blackouts now, if you look at sabotage and want to investigate why we are having these blackouts now.
President Edgar Lungu will be seeking the election under the Patriotic Front ticket for the third time, having won the election in the year 2015 and 2016 respectively. Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Former PF Lusaka Central Constituency Member of Parliament says the Patriotic Front government will, after elections, implement different developmental projects in Bauleni constituency. Mrs. Manakatwe says several skills training centers will be constructed to help the youth and women earn a living. She was speaking when she distributed face masks and towards some of her already implemented projects in Bauleni compound on the eve of Po Day. Details in the following report.
Bauleni, a community of about 80,000 inhabitants, mostly dominated by the youth, women and children. The area that has shortage of resources, structures and skills. Residents here want to have a feel of good infrastructure development and water and sanitation. To this effect, former PF Member of Parliament Margaret Mwanakatwi told Camnet News in an interview that come post-elections, the Patriotic Front government will continue to provide developmental projects in the area.
So you need to dig another borehole. So we've dug quite a few boreholes here and put up tanks, and always ensuring that we put enough chlorine in the tanks to make sure the water is clean. Ideally, if you ask me, I'd like to get rid of all the pit latrines, because the pit latrines are the ones that are making the water be contaminated. Okay. If you look at where we are here, we've put up 2 bridges because we had lost 3 lives. People crossing the bridge that was there, which was not a bridge at all. So these ones that we've put up, we've managed to save lives. We haven't lost any lives since we put up the 2 bridges. But again, we still have a challenge because the water, when it's in the rainy season, when it's passing through, you can see that, first of all, there's a lot of rubbish in there. And also the water is eating away into the banks. So we need to do some banks, some cement banks, to make sure that the sides are not being eaten away by the rainwater.
Ms. Mwanakatwi says several centers training different skills will be constructed.
We recently used it for playoffs. Okay, it was right here. And I wish to see the more and more youth seeing the talent that is being displayed from across the country and saying to themselves, wow, I can be that. I mean, we've brought people out of here and they've gone to UEFA as a cattle raiser. Fantastic, these are youth. Barbara is one of our talents, and she's out of just right here, okay? So I'd like to believe that they'll just not be sitting in their rooms watching the TV, they'll come out here and be part and parcel.
With a growing population that Baulen constituency is experiencing, there's a greater need to have developmental projects implemented. Blessings Chakwila, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Patriotic Front National Mobilization Committee member Bizwe Mutale has commended various stakeholders across the country for promoting peace and unity as the country goes to the polls on Thursday, the 12th of August 2021. Mr. Mutale says traditional leaders have also played a critical role in the preservation of peace and encouraging their subjects to maintain peace and unity in their various chiefdoms. Speaking at a press briefing in Lusaka Wednesday, Mr. Mutale added that Zambia is admired for being a peaceful country on the continent, saying this should continue even after the elections. He has encouraged everyone to maintain peace as they cast their vote on Thursday.
I extend my gratitude to the traditional leaders and their indunas for promoting peace and denouncing violence to their subjects and the people of Zambia during the campaign. I also want to thank our party, the PF, for the peace and hard work adhering to COVID-19 guidelines and the signed peace accord that was followed. Our nation is at war against those who support the network of violence and hatred in fighting to hold power by any means of violence using the tribal divisions, tribal divisions in our great nations of one Zambia, one nation. Peace has always prevailed in our nation and it will always prevail as always. Since 1964, there is no Zambian government that was formed through violence, using bullets in our mother Zambia. It will not happen now, and never will it be registered in our loving country, Zambia. Zambia is a peaceful, loving nation and a beacon of peace in the southern province, so in the southern Africa, and across Africa and the rest of the world. As a PF National Mobilization member, I would love to call upon every Zambian citizen as they are going to vote tomorrow to reflect on what the Patriotic Front has achieved in the shortest possible time under the great leadership of the Excellency President Dr. Edgar Lungu. We have enjoyed a lot of service deliveries that have been achieved. We have enjoyed the great leadership that has restored peace. We have enjoyed a lot of activities in our country, beside the violence that have been in our country, but the President of the Republic of Zambia, he has steered the country into the right direction.
The Leadership Movement Party has charged that Zambia needs to go back to the first National Development Plan if real development is to be seen in the country. Party Media Director Mr. Tatila, speaking to Camnet News in an exclusive interview, states that development should be interpreted in terms of putting food on people's tables and offering employment to the youth, and not in terms of infrastructure development. The party is one of the 16 participating in the Thursday, 12th August 2021 polls.
As the general election set for 12th August 2021 draw closer, the Leadership Movement Party says bringing development to a personal level should be the priority of the next government. 16 political parties are to compete for presidential, mayoral, and local government seats. The Leadership Movement Party says that there needs to be a restructuring of the country's development plan to ensure that development is felt on a personal level through the creation of jobs and ensuring cheaper food prices in place of prioritizing infrastructure development. Party Media Director Mr. Tatila, who was speaking to Camnet News, also says revamping Zambia's debt industries and promoting self-sustainability is the only way that Zambia can attain development.
It's not development. Put Putting food on the table is development. Taking children to school is development. And ensuring that young people that are graduating don't find a job, maybe in an Airtel booth or MTN booth, but they find a better job.
The party media director further states that Zambians also need to be given easy access to loans, land, and be entitled to tax breaks.
Tax breaks and tax holidays are not enjoyed by the Zambian people. Tax breaks and tax holidays are enjoyed by foreigners. For example, the mining companies, they're enjoying 5 years tax break. And yet, after 5 years, they change the name. Look at Rumwana. At some point it was Rumwana. At some point it's Bariki. Look at Airtel today. At some point it was Celtel. Then it came to Zen. Now it's Airtel. After 5 years, it will change the name again. Who is enjoying the tax breaks and tax holidays is the foreigners and not the Zambian people. Zambian people must take leads in business, and they must be given tax holidays and tax breaks to ensure that no council, no ZRA is pouncing on them.
Various political parties will compete in the 2021 polls. Zipporah Mushala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Zambia Diaspora Foundation Executive Director Dean Mulozi has noted with concern the absence of important messages by presidential candidates to the electorate on how they will take care of Zambian citizens living outside the country. In an interview with Camnet TV, Mr. Mulozi says the Zambian diaspora, like other African diaspora, have huge potential to contribute to the GDP of the country. He says there is great need to institute practical steps that will help harness the Zambian diaspora to the social and economic agenda of Zambia.
We actually more concerned and notice with the sadness that the current political debate in terms of elections, campaigns, does not include solely the plight of Zambian living outside this country. We feel that there's a huge potential up there for the Zambian living outside to add to social and economic agenda of this country. As the election nearing, Zambia Diaspora Foundation is ready to work with a new government, which is going to form government, to ensure that we work together to ensure that Zambia, establishes what we call Zambia Diaspora Commission or Zambia Diaspora Authority. That will cover issues of diaspora remittances, speeding up the diaspora right to vote, at the same time the dual citizenship and issues related to migration in this country. We feel that the diaspora, Zambian diaspora, has been neglected for a long time. It's right time we put practical steps to ensure that the Zambian diaspora adds value to Zambia's economic agenda.
Government has issued a warning to employers who may want to abrogate the law and deny citizens the right to vote on poll day, that they will feel the full wrath of the law should they be found wanting. Minister of Information Permanent Secretary Mr. Amos Malupenga, addressing the media Wednesday, says voting is a right enshrined in Article 47 of the Republican Constitution, and therefore no one should deny them this right. We have more in this report.
As voting day for Zambia's general elections approaches, workers of named companies have been expressing concern on social media over their working hours given to them by their employers on poll day, stating that this may deny them the right to vote as their working hours are not favorable. Government recently announced 12th and 13th August as public holidays. Article 47 of the Zambian Constitution stipulates the right of every Zambian citizen above the age of 18 with a national registration card, NRC, and a voter's card, the right to vote. Article 56 of the Constitution further indicates that the day on which a general election is held shall be regarded as a public holiday to ensure that citizens exercise their right. Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, Mr. Amos Malupenga, has therefore issued a stern warning to employers who may want to deny workers the right to vote, stating that they will be visited by the law. Mr. Malupenga was speaking when addressing the media Wednesday.
Remind those employers that they will face the wrath of the law should they insist that workers work against what has been announced by the government. it's tomorrow as the election day, as the statement says. This holiday is enshrined in the Constitution. So it's basically non-working day, just like any other holiday. It's enshrined in the Constitution. So we don't expect any employer to open apart from those providing essential services. Even those, according to the guidance here, they have to make arrangements in place that they do not defranchise their employees, because that is their constitutional right.
He has further indicated that places where violence was recorded have been given extra security to ensure that peace prevails.
Security has been heightened in some identified hotspots, specifically where violence has been recorded. In the rest of the country, about 95% of the country, regular policing by the Zambia Police Service is expected to be adequate to maintain law and order. Let's remain one Zambia, one nation, even after tomorrow, Thursday, 12th August 2021.
Zambians will vote in the general elections on 12th August 2021. Zipporah Mushala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
You're watching Camnet TV Main News. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more news after the break.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes, and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
At Master Signs, our services range from outdoor, indoor signage such as billboards, banners, 3D light boxes, pylons, and neon signs. We are located at plot number 397A, Makeni Road, Lusaka, at Oryx Filling Station. For more details, call us on +260 967 100 090 or +260 966 999 981, or better still, email us at infomastersign@gmail.com. Master Sign, we will make it shine.
Are you a small to medium enterprise looking to advertise your products and services within your community and across Zambia? In these economic times, we are here to help you grow your business. Advertise with us on Camnet Market. Camnet Market is offering lower rates for prime time advertising between 06 to 18 hours every day to give your business an edge under the new normal and beyond. For more details, contact us on the following numbers: 097 975 3010 or 096 296 5883, as well as 096 244 726. You can also reach us via email on info@camnettvafrica.com. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. This is Camnet TV Main News. The Constitutional Court has dismissed a case in which 3 non-governmental organizations were seeking a declaration that in nominating members of parliament and making the ministerial appointments, the president did not adopt a procedure which ensured gender parity in the appointments. However, in its judgment Wednesday morning, the court says the Republican President, Edgar Lungu, did not contrive the Constitution during the time he was making the appointments, as there is no evidence to show that he did not take into account gender equality and parity. The court further ruled that the President acted within the confines of the Constitution in the exercise of his executive function. We have more in this report.
Just like many petitions against the head of state, commenced by 3 non-government organizations, has also not seen the light of the day. The country's highest court has ruled that it is at the president's discretion to enhance representation of special interest, skills or gender where he feels necessary. Wednesday morning, the Constitutional Court struck out the petition by 3 non-government organizations, among them Chapter 1 Foundation Limited, Non-Government Organization Coordinating Committee for Gender and Development Registered Trustees and Young Women in Action, where they were seeking a declaration that in nominating members of parliament and making the ministerial appointments, the president did not adopt procedure which ensured gender parity in the appointments. The dismissed petition dates back to the year 2020. When the 3 non-government organizations saw it fit to commence a legal action against the state, but in the majority judgment delivered Wednesday morning, the court says President Edgar Lungu acted within the confines of the Constitution in exercising of his executive function, and further that the petitioner did not prove that President Lungu contravened the Constitution. Speaking shortly after the court's judgment, the petitioner says they are disappointed with the outcome.
And the assertion that it's impracticable to find these women, youth and disabled people, we find quite disturbing, given the fact, particularly with regard to nominated MPs, that the President has a mandate, has the ability to choose from amongst the entire population. So we're very disappointed, and well, of course we respect the judgment of the court, but we reserve our right to explore what other options we can use to ensure that the right to equality is observed and respected in this country.
They also commented on assertion that women shy away from politics because of name calling.
I don't think that's an issue. We have several, for example, we already had several women in Parliament who could have been chosen from, and there was no limitation with regard to the nomination of MPs from which the President could have chosen, but he chose not to, as pointed out by Judge Mararula in her dissenting judgment. So we don't think that's a really good excuse at all.
The 3 non-government organizations in this matter had cited the Attorney General Likando Kalaluka and wanted the court to issue an order of mandamus directing President Edgar Lungu to within 90 days reconstitute the cabinet by the powers vested in him by the Constitution to align the appointments, procedures and composition of the cabinet within the constitutional requirement outlined in Article 259. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The court has dismissed the case where United Party for National Development Secretary General Batuke Imenda has sought judicial review in the Lusaka High Court against the decision of ZNBC Director General not to air UPND campaign advertisements during prime slots. In this case, the UPND Secretary General wanted an order of mandamus to oblige the Director General of ZNBC to air the UPND's campaign advertisements, as the said rejection is devoid of any legal basis and is now unvoid. Further, an order of certiorari to remove into the High Court the purposes of quashing the said decision by ZNBC Director General of denying airing of UPND campaign advertisements during prime time. But in a ruling on ex parte application for leave to apply for judicial review, dated 10th August 2021, Judge Wanjalani says there was no application for leave to extend time to commence judicial review proceedings before him. The court finds the application for the judicial review to be incompetent. The Zambian National Marketeers Credit Association, Zanamaka, says the commissioning of the newly constructed Kenneth Kaunda International Airport Terminal Two will positively transform the country into a middle-income status that will improve on trade, which will be triggered onto the marketeers and the traders. ZNBC Executive Director Mupila Kamea says a majority of marketeers depend on imported goods from other countries, considering that Zambia is a land-linked country. Mr. Kamea says the operationalization of the new terminal building will position Zambia as an aviation hub in the southern African region, which will improve on trade among cross-border traders, as well as increase on the country's forex. He has since thanked President Edgar Lungu for settling a good business environment, which has been seen through the introduction of Qatar Airline in Zambia.
Commissioning of the newly constructed Kenneth Kaunda International Airport, Terminal 2, will positively transform the country into a middle-income status through infrastructure development, hence improve on trade, which will trigger onto the marketeers and traders. As you may be aware, majority of our marketeers depend on imported goods from other countries, as Zambia being a land-linked country. Ladies and gentlemen, as mentioned by the head of state during the commissioning of the Kenneth Kaunda International Airport, that the operationalization of the new terminal building will position Zambia as an aviation hub in the southern African region. This will also improve on trade among cross-border traders and increase on the country's forex, thereby improve the country's economy.
The Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, CCPC, in partnership with the Mongo Municipal Council, have seized assorted goods worth close to 4,000 kwacha in Mongo district of Western Province. CCPC Senior Public Relations Officer Namokolo Kasumpa says among the seized items include drinks, baked beans, Delight Grown-Ups, Hugo's Mixed Fruit, as well as Chelsea, Chico and Chocomint biscuits, among other items. Ms. Kasumpa says the seized products did not meet the mandatory product information standards set by Section 50 of the Competition and Consumer Protection Act, as well as the Food and Drugs Act of the laws of Zambia. She says the Commission, in collaboration with other relevant stakeholders, will continue to enforce the law in accordance with their respective mandates in order to ensure that consumers are protected from any unfair trading practices in the country.
The Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, in partnership with the Mongo Municipal Council, have seized assorted goods worth 3,901 kwacha in Mongo District, Western Province. The seized products did not meet the mandatory product information standards set by Section 50 of the Competition and Consumer Protection Act No. 24 of 2010, as well as the Food and Drugs Act Cap 303 of the laws of Zambia. The inspection covered 10 trading premises of Mandanga's Central Business District in Mongo and was aimed at assessing the traders' compliance levels with the Act for enhancement of competition and promotion of consumer protection in Zambia. The Commission, in collaboration with the councils and other relevant stakeholders, will continue to enforce the law in accordance with their respective mandates in order to ensure that consumers are protected from any unfair trading practices.
The Center for Policy, Trade and Development, CTPD, says it is expected that the political party that forms government after Thursday's general election will transform the mining sector into a tool of national development. CTPD senior researcher Webi Banda says the transformation of the mining sector can only be attained if 6 critical issues facing the sector are resolved. Mr. Banda says among the 6 issues is the need to resolve the taxation gridlock of non-deductibility of mineral royalty between government and mining companies. He says the above issue that has been going on for quite some time with little progress in attaining consensus needs to be addressed. The Zambia Medicines Regulatory Authority, in collaboration with the Zambia Police Service in Lusaka, has intercepted a truck alleged to have come from South Africa carrying a substantive amount of benylin with codeine syrup worth approximately 500,000 kwacha. Zamra Public Relations Officer Ludovic Mwape says the consignment has since been confiscated and investigations are underway to establish the persons involved. regulatory action will be taken against those found in conflict with the law, according to Mr. Mwape.
The Zambia Medicines Regulatory Authority, in collaboration with the Zambia Police Service in Lusaka, has intercepted a truck alleged to have come from South Africa carrying a substantive amount of benylin with codeine worth approximately 500,000 kwacha. The consignment has since been confiscated and investigations are underway to establish the persons involved. Regulatory action will be taken against those found in conflict of the law. Furthermore, the authority wishes to issue a stern warning to all those engaging in similar offenses to refrain from the vice or risk prosecution. We remain committed as an authority to ensure that only medicines obtained lawfully and meet the set standard of quality, safety, and efficacy are made available to the Zambian public.
With less than 24 hours before the general elections, Ministry of Health has called on the public to adhere to the COVID-19 guidelines given by Ministry of Health in combating COVID-19. Disclosing in a press statement, Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary Technical Services, Dr. Kennedy Malama, has urged the general public and various stakeholders to ensure that there is a safe environment before, during, and after elections. Dr. Malama has stated that despite some challenges in complying with the directives and measures by some section of society, the Permanent Secretary has since commended the public for having followed the COVID-19 regulations. The Permanent Secretary has, however, continued to call on the public to adhere to the COVID-19 guidelines. Meanwhile, the country has in the last 24 hours recorded 512 new confirmed cases out of 7,921 tests conducted, and 10 new deaths have been recorded. You're watching Camnet TV Main News. We take another break. We'll be back with international and sports news.
Good day to you, dear esteemed customers. As ZAMBIA, we're glad to bring something of excitement to you, and it's a promotion we've dubbed Yatu, which simply means it's yours. And in this promotion, we're giving benefits that are tailored to you specifically as a customer, depending on the profile or the segment that you're sitting on as a customer. And in this promotion, we are saying you will get from as low as 13 ngwe benefits amounting to over 500%. And it's all for you so that you get more benefits. So to know more about Yatu, stay on.
Yatu is a promotion that offers ZAMBIA customers amazing benefits that are made just for you. ZAMBIA customers will get amazing benefits of over 500% bonus back the value that they used when they subscribe to a Yatu offer. Yatu benefits will be usable for ZAMBIA to ZAMBIA calls, ZAMBIA to ZAMBIA SMSs, and browsing on pay-as-you-go defined rates. For you to access the amazing Yatu offers, all you have to do is dial *335# and select option 1 to purchase the offer that best suits you. ZAMBIA customers will have the ability to actually purchase the Yatu benefit more than once. So this means you can purchase the offer twice, you can purchase the offer 3 times, and the benefits will be accumulative at the end of the day. Yatu benefits will be able to be redeemed if you subscribe to the same offer within a 5-day period. So if you have unused benefits from the previous day and the expiry date comes, you can still subscribe to the same offer within 5 days and your benefits will be able to accumulate. How amazing is that? For you to check your Yatu benefit balance, all you have to do is dial *335# and select option 2 and you'll be able to see your current balance.
In this fast-paced era of industrial boom and population growth, there is need to invest in smart ways of managing electricity and water consumption and reducing utility billing costs associated with the postpaid billing system. At Savenda Electronics, we manufacture right here in Zambia different types of high-quality smart electricity and water meters to customer specifications. Savenda Electronics water and electricity meters help you monitor your usage and gives notifications such as low units, tampering, low battery, and many other features. These easy-to-use meters makes it easier to buy units even in these COVID times and top up just from the comfort of your space. Favorable contract terms are available to both electricity and water utilities. For more details, get in touch with us on the following numbers: 0956 580 349 or 0977 498 318. Savenda Electronics, the real deal.
Africa is rising to a new dawn of integrity and accountability. Are you tired of being swindled or buying fake or illegal properties? Would you like to sell or buy genuine property? Would you like to list your property on both local and international market? Don't waste your time. Call the professionals, the SGK Properties on +260 762 166 018. SGK Properties. Your business assurance is our priority.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. And in international news, Sudan will hand over to the International Criminal Court, ICC, several of its former leaders, including deposed autocrat Omar al-Bashir, wanted for crimes against humanity and war crimes during the conflict in Darfur, the country's foreign minister said on Wednesday. In other news, a court in China found Canadian businessman Michael Spavor guilty of spying on Wednesday, sentencing him to 11 years in prison in a decision likely to further undermine already poor relations between China and Canada. Spavor, who for years ran a travel and cultural exchange business between China and North Korea, was convicted of espionage and illegally providing state secrets, Dandong City Intermediate People's Court said in a statement. The Canadian government has described the case against Michael Spavor, who was arrested in 2019, as hostage politics. Here's a roundup of international news.
Sudan will hand ex-President Omar al-Bashir to the ICC along other officials wanted over Darfur conflict. Bashir, who ruled Sudan with an iron fist for 3 decades before being disposed amid popular protests in 2019, faces charges of genocide, war crimes and crimes against humanity in Darfur. The UN says 300,000 people were killed and 2.5 million displaced in the conflict, which erupted in the vast western region in 2003. Bashir had been wanted by the ICC since 2009 when it issued a warrant for his arrest. The decision to hand him over came during a visit to Sudan by ICC Chief Prosecutor Karim Khan. Sudan has been led since August 2019 by a transitional civilian military administration that has vowed to bring justice to victims of crimes committed under Bashir. Khartoum signed a peace deal last October with some of their leaders taking top jobs in government, but violence still reigns in the region.
The verdict sentencing Canadian Michael Spavor to 11 years in prison was delivered behind closed doors in a courtroom in the northeastern Chinese city of Dandong. The city had been home to the businessman who organized tours to North Korea until he was detained in December 2018 and charged with sharing state secrets. Former Canadian diplomat Michael Kovrig was also arrested and charged with spying. Both men were tried in March after more than 2 years in detention. Spavor's sentence was condemned by Canada's ambassador to China.
We've maintained from the beginning that Michael Spavor and Michael Kovrig are being detained arbitrarily, and we will continue to call for their immediate release.
The announcement came as Chinese executive Meng Wanzhou faces court in Vancouver in a final push to fight extradition to the United States. The former Huawei chief financial officer is accused of violating sanctions on Iran. Relations between China and Canada have soured considerably.
Meng Wanzhou's case is purely politically motivated. These two Canadians are suspected of endangering China's state security.
Spavor and Kovrig were detained just weeks after Meng's arrest. Ottawa has accused Beijing of hostage diplomacy. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau issued a statement saying the ruling was unjust and lacked transparency. Representatives from 25 countries, including the US, UK and Japan, appeared at the Canadian Embassy in Beijing in support of Spavor. The Chinese court sentenced Michael Spavor to 11 years in prison and ordered his deportation, but it's unclear when that would happen. Canadian officials say it's most likely after the jail term is served, but some analysts say it could be sooner, an option used as a bargaining chip with Canada.
It all hangs on what happens to Miss Meng in Vancouver and perhaps later, if she is extradited, in Washington.
The verdict follows the upholding of the death sentence of another Canadian, Robert Schellenberg, on Tuesday. He was jailed in China in 2014 for drug smuggling. It's unclear when the court will give its decision on Michael Kovrig. Michael Spavor has 10 days to appeal his sentence, but in a country where 99% of criminal cases are found guilty, the chances of overturning the ruling are unlikely. Katrina Yu, Al Jazeera, Beijing.
It's now time for sports news. And in sports news, senior Polo national football team interim coach says he has come up with a strong team to play in the World Cup qualifiers. Speaking at a press briefing, based on CHAMBESHI has assured the nation that the Polo will meet soccer fans' expectations by winning the matches ahead. We have more in this report.
The Polo will regroup for the long haul on August 15th ahead of an international training camp to be held either in Europe or Morocco. Zambia will be away to Mauritania on September 1st, 2021, before hosting Tunisia 5 days later at the Levi Mwanawasa Stadium in Group B of the Qatar 2022 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. On the 4th of August 2021, we saw Zambia caretaker coach based on CHAMBESHI name a provisional 30-member squad of home-based players for camp training ahead of the forthcoming World Cup qualifiers in September.
For sure, I can assure you I know the expectation from our nation, and even for allowing me to be in front of this battle. I know if we plan well and we work as a team with my take on staff, I think we will achieve the needed goals. The most important thing is to first just to start from the players, as we are there to guide them.
With so many preparations going on, interim coach based on CHAMBESHI has assured the nation on the team's preparedness.
Then we'll be together with them. And I can assure you, we started our preparations a week ago with the locals. And the character they are showing, I think we are moving in the right direction. And hoping we don't have any injuries with our foreign players, I think we'll come up with it.
Mr. CHAMBESHI has disclosed that the team is already undergoing training. Blessings Shakwila, Camnet News, Lusaka.
That sports story brings us to the end of the news, but we'll take a look at the top stories once again. Zambia decides 12th August amid its economic recovery promises. Top 2 contenders in Thursday's election optimistic of carrying the day. NGOCC disappointed by the police conduct in this election period. And in international news, Sudan to hand former leader OMAR AL-BASHIR and others to the ICC. And in sports news, CHAMBESHI confident of squad formed for the World Cup qualifiers. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day, which is coming from Mark 8, verse 35 to 36, and it reads, "For whosoever will have his life shall lose it, but whosoever shall lose his life for my sake and the gospel's, the same shall save it. For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul. On that note, we come to the end of the news. Thanks for watching Camnet TV Main News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Bye-bye.